The Istanbul Cipher, Chapter 3. The youth center was silent when I arrived. Too early for the usual rooftop chaos. I kicked off my shoes at the door, climbed the worn stairs, and found Emre hunched over a laptop near the power strip wall. A tangle of cords sprawled across the floor like tech intestines. He didn't look up. I cleared my throat. Emre jumped, then tried to mask it with a quick nod. Just testing a new placement module. His screen showed a layered AR interface, a grainy overhead map from the 1800s on one side, a modern satellite grid on the other. A slider lets you fade from one to the other. Seamless, elegant. I leaned in. This is solid work, really clean. He shrugged. It's buggy. Geotags don't always stick. I coded it fast, probably too fast. Still, I said, watching the overlay as a ghost structure faded in over a present-day block of concrete. This is the first time I've seen the city argue with itself in real time. That got a flicker of a smile. I pulled out my notebook. What's your data source? Old fire insurance maps. Ottoman cartographers were obsessive, which helps. I wrote a script to align their street angles with Google Earth. It's mostly working. He said it like he was describing someone else's work. Your parents know what you're building? I asked. His eyes dropped back to the screen. They think it's just school stuff, math competitions, resume padding. They wouldn't approve. They'd tell me to get serious. He tapped a key hard. To build something profitable, or at least safe. I let that sit. He pushed back from the desk, rubbing the back of his neck. This matters. But I don't think they'd see it that way. I do, I said. He didn't answer. Just turned the screen slightly, as if offering it again without admitting that he wanted to. The map shimmered. Streets that no longer existed, stitched back together by the son of immigrants with a second-hand laptop and more vision than he knew what to do with. Keep going, I said. Don't tell them yet, but don't stop. He nodded once. The door slammed open upstairs, followed by the unmistakable rhythm of Ayla taking the stairs 2 at a time. Zach, she called before even reaching the landing. You need to see this. She barreled onto the rooftop, waving a black and white photo like it was evidence in a trial. Her scarf was lopsided and her backpack half unzipped. She slapped the photo onto the table. It was her grandmother, Anahid, maybe 16, standing in front of a stone wall. A carved cross peeked from under a crescent moon etched above the arch. The symbols overlapped, layered, not replaced. Ayla tapped the corner. That wall still exists. I've seen pieces of it in real life. I just can't find where. I angled the photo under the morning light. And you've checked the official databases? Everything. Nothing. No record. It's like the place just fell off the map. Sibyl appeared from the stairwell, holding a pastry in one hand and her notebook in the other. Where was it taken? Ayla handed her the photo. My grandmother says near the water, but not the touristy areas. She remembers getting lost finding it. Sibyl stared at the image for a long time. Then she flipped open her notebook to a rough family tree tangled with dates and hand-drawn landmarks. There's an old story, she said. A church that sank into the city. Not destroyed, just swallowed. People said you could still feel it in the ground. My great-aunt used to whisper about it. A ghost site, I said. Sibyl nodded slowly. Exactly. Emre leaned in. Can we scan the photo and use pattern matching against old topography? Ayla emerged last, holding a rolled map and 2 phones. Only if we've got site candidates. Let's not chase shadows. Layla snapped. It's not a shadow. It's a story. And stories leave traces. The air prickled. First real tension of the day. But no one walked away. I watched the photo, the overlapping symbols. A cross and a crescent on the same stone. I said quietly. That's not just architecture. That's defiance. Layla smiled, but there was no softness in it. Exactly. The back wall of the rooftop classroom was covered with layers of taped-up maps. Some digital prints, others photocopied pages from dusty archives. Ayla had turned it into a mission control center. Colored threads linked locations. Sticky notes sprouted like moss. Check footage, water damage, no public records. The 4 of them stood in a loose circle, staring at the map like it might confess if they looked hard enough. Known sites go in green, Ayla said, tapping her tablet. Semi-documented in yellow, ghosts in red. Siebel added a new red pin with quiet ceremony. I cross-referenced Layla's photo with an old urban pilgrimage route. There's an unmarked corner near the Süleymaniye Hammam. Emre was already loading coordinates into the prototype AR engine. His laptop fan whined like it was overheating from purpose. Layla leaned against the table, chewing her thumbnail. So, how do we film it? Can we get access? Depends who owns it, Ayla said, and whether it's officially listed as a heritage site. If not, we risk trespassing. Since when has that stopped us? Layla grinned. Since I started handling permits. Ayla deadpanned. There's still jail here, remember? I watched them volley. Behind Ayla's sarcasm was something more careful. Not fear, control. A way of pre-solving disasters before they had names. Don't mistake her cynicism for apathy, I scribbled in my notebook. It's her armor. The door creaked open behind us. Professor Niyazi Demir entered carrying a tray of tse and a bundle of municipal files wrapped in twine. Dressed in a crumpled linen suit, half-untucked shirt, and mismatched socks, he looked like he'd stepped out of an Ottoman time machine with a hangover. Apologies, he said, setting the tray down. The tea may be older than me. Drink at your own risk. Layla lit up. You brought the files? Demir gave a theatrical bow. I did. Urban development plans from 1984. The year the city decided to forget selectively. He held up one yellowing page with a smile. See this block? Matches your mystery photo. It was wiped clean under the non-conforming use clause. No compensation. No trace. A hush followed. Siebel whispered, erased. Professor Demir smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Erased, my dear, but not invisible. We followed the map through winding alleys, past mosques, laundry lines, and cracked satellite dishes. Süleymaniye rose around us. Not the tourist-polished version, but the lived-in one. Kids kicked a plastic bottle down the street. A man shouted from a balcony. Every stone looked like it remembered something. Emre walked slightly ahead, phone in one hand, laptop bag across his chest. His stabilizer rig bobbed as he filmed intersections, doorframes, fragments of archways. The app was live, bare bones, but functional. Hold there, Ayla said, pointing to a crumbling wall. That footprint matches the 1887 survey. Siebel activated her voice memo app. Outer gate, red limestone, possibly repurposed, no plaque, no protection. Ayla tilted her head, scanning the geometry of the stone. This used to be sacred. You can feel it. I stayed back and watched. It was like watching 4 languages overlap. Coding, cartography, architecture, memory, and they were fluent in all of them. Let's test the overlay, Emre said. He pulled up the beta app and held the screen to the alley wall. The AR layer kicked in, stuttering at first, then aligning. A delicate church facade flickered over the ruin. Arched windows, engraved script, a bell tower that no longer existed. The past shimmered over the present, like a ghost, still arguing for space. Ayla let out a breath. It's real. Ayla didn't say anything, but she recorded it. She always recorded. Siebel's eyes filled with something close to awe. It's not gone, just sleeping. I looked down at my own screen. The app wasn't perfect. The rendering had jagged seams. The placement drifted if you moved too fast. But the feeling, that shock of seeing what shouldn't exist reappear, hit like cold water to the spine. This, I whispered, this is going to matter. That's when the black car pulled up. Quiet engine, tinted windows. A single door opened. A man stepped out. Polished shoes, tailored jacket, not a wrinkle on him. Hair slicked, smile practiced. Zachary Merritt, he said warmly. I've been following your students' work with great interest. He extended a hand. I'm Hakan Kadir, from the Ministry of Culture. Hakan Kadir shook my hand with the practiced ease of someone who never needed to introduce himself twice. His grip was just right, firm, not aggressive. His suit smelled faintly of cedar and confidence. Ayla was the first to snap out of it. You've seen our work? I have, Kadir said, smiling like a headline. In fact, I've had your app prototype on my desk for 2 weeks. Very promising. Emre stiffened. It's not public yet. Hakan chuckled. You'd be amazed what crosses a ministry desk. Don't worry, we admire your ambition. He turned to Ayla. You must be Aiden's granddaughter. Anahid's legacy runs deep. It's good to see that spark continue. Ayla beamed. Her grip on the photo in her hand tightened, knuckles pale. Siebel stepped closer, cautious. We didn't submit anything to the ministry. No, Kadir said, brushing imaginary lint from his sleeve. But one of my former professors mentioned the project. Niyazi Demir, I believe. Brilliant man, a bit romantic but sharp. Zach's rule number 14. When people offer unsolicited praise, they're angling. May I? Kadir gestured toward Emre's device. Emre hesitated, then handed over the phone. Kadir lifted it, scanned the wall. The AR facade loaded, shimmering just enough to feel unreal. Incredible, he murmured. History speaking through code. Very modern, very powerful. Ayla crossed her arms, watching him like a chess opponent. Powerful for who? Kadir's smile didn't falter. That depends on who controls the narrative. Which is why I'm here, to help you navigate the red tape before someone else stops you. He reached into his breast pocket and handed Ayla a card. Thick, cream-colored, with a crimson wax seal embossed near the bottom. Direct line. Anytime. We want to encourage youth-led initiatives that honor cultural identity. He turned to leave. Just be careful where you look. Sometimes the past gets defensive. I caught the flicker in Emre's eyes as he snatched his phone back. Ayla hadn't blinked. Kadir climbed into the car, gave us one last practiced nod, and disappeared into traffic. Sibyl whispered, "Power always comes dressed like that." And no one disagreed. The moment Hakan Kadir's car disappeared around the corner, the silence snapped back like a stretched wire. Layla stared at the card in her hand like it might burn her palm. He knew my grandmother's name. "That's public," Ayla muttered, grabbing her tablet. "If you know where to look." He complimented the app. Layla said, more to herself than us. And he offered help. That's not nothing. "It's exactly nothing," Emre said flatly, slinging his laptop bag over his shoulder. He didn't offer help. He offered access, with strings. Layla turned, defensive now. "You think we can do this without help? Without permits? We'll hit a wall in a week." "You mean his wall?" Ayla snapped. "The one he controls." Zach's rule number 8. Don't interrupt students in honest conflict. Let the truth fall out. So I let them argue. Sibyl stood apart, quiet again, watching, measuring the fault lines like she'd seen them crack before. Eventually, the fire cooled. Ayla and Emre exchanged a loaded glance, but said nothing more. Layla slid the card into her notebook, gently, like she hadn't decided whether it was poison or power. "We'll meet tomorrow," she said, voice low. "There's more under that wall. I know it." Everyone nodded, but the unity they'd walked in with was gone. Something had shifted. They dispersed, Ayla striding ahead like she needed space, Emre plugging in his headphones, Sibyl trailing last with her sketchbook held tight to her chest. I stayed behind. The alley was quiet now, afternoon shadows stretching long over cracked pavement. I lifted my phone and opened the app, panning slowly across the wall. The overlay flickered on screen, a delicate church facade rendered in digital memory. Stained glass that no longer existed. Stone columns that rose from nothing, almost forgotten. But not quite. I pulled out my notebook and wrote a single question under the word I jotted yesterday. Who erased this? And beneath that, who benefits if it stays erased?